What if I told you that a devastating shipwreck changed the course of history? It didn't just destroy one man's fortune, but also set him on a path to create one of the most enduring philosophies of all time, Stoicism. This is the story of Zeno of Citium, a man whose ideas have inspired emperors, slaves, and modern thinkers alike. Born over 2,000 years ago, Zeno was an unlikely philosopher. He started as a wealthy merchant, trading goods across the Mediterranean. But fate had other plans. Stranded in Athens after losing everything, Zeno wandered into a bookstore, and that moment changed everything. Intrigued by the teachings of Socrates, he asked the bookseller, "Where can I find a man like this?" The bookseller pointed him to a philosopher named Crates, setting Zeno on a journey that would define his life. But who exactly was Zeno? What drove him to create a new school of thought that emphasized virtue, reason, and resilience? In this video, we'll explore the fascinating life of Zeno of Citium, from his early years to his lasting legacy. Stick around. You'll discover how one man's misfortune became the foundation of an enduring way of life. Early life and background. Zeno of Citium was born around 334 BCE in the city of Citium, located on the island of Cyprus. Citium was a thriving hub of trade and culture, blending Greek, Phoenician, and local Cypriot influences. This unique environment gave Zeno an early exposure to a diversity of ideas, though his life initially revolved around commerce rather than philosophy. His father, a prosperous merchant, introduced him to the trade of purple dye, a prized luxury item that symbolized wealth and power in the ancient world. Zeno grew up steeped in the pragmatic world of trading, mastering the art of negotiation and navigation. As a young man, he followed in his father's footsteps, building his reputation as a skilled merchant. His journeys across the Mediterranean not only expanded his business, but also his worldview. Yet, amidst the success, Zeno may have felt a lingering sense of something missing, a deeper purpose that commerce alone couldn't fulfill. This hidden yearning came to the surface after a catastrophic event. One of Zeno's trading voyages ended in disaster when a violent storm wrecked his ship, destroying his cargo and leaving him stranded in Athens. Stripped of his wealth and resources, Zeno was forced to re-evaluate his life. It was a moment of profound crisis, but also opportunity. According to legend, as he wandered the streets of Athens, Zeno stumbled into a bookstore. There, he came across a copy of Xenophon's Memorabilia, a work that chronicled the teachings of Socrates. Captivated by Socrates' ideas, Zeno turned to the bookseller and asked, "Where can I find a man like this?" The bookseller directed him to Crates of Thebes, a leading Cynic philosopher. Crates' philosophy was a shock to Zeno's system. The Cynics believed in living simply, rejecting wealth, and embracing nature. For a man who had once been a merchant, this was a radical departure. Yet Zeno found himself drawn to the idea that virtue and wisdom, not riches, were the true measures of a fulfilling life. He became Crates' student, diving headfirst into the study of philosophy. Over the years, Zeno studied with several prominent philosophers, including Stilpo of Megara and Xenocrates of the Platonic Academy. From these diverse influences, he began piecing together his own unique approach to philosophy, a framework that would later be known as Stoicism, the turning point. Zeno's immersion in Athens' intellectual culture marked a pivotal shift in his life. While studying under Crates, he embraced the rigorous teachings of Cynicism, learning the value of living simply and prioritizing virtue over material wealth. However, Zeno wasn't content to merely follow. He was a thinker driven to synthesize and innovate. Under Crates' mentorship, Zeno learned the power of direct confrontation with one's desires. Socrates often challenged his students by deliberately provoking situations that tested their attachment to societal norms. For Zeno, these lessons were transformative. He realized that true freedom wasn't about accumulating wealth or status, but mastering one's inner life. Yet he felt that cynicism's radical asceticism lacked a complete framework for living harmoniously within society. Zeno began to explore other schools of thought. He studied with Stilpo of Megara, who emphasized logic and the art of reasoned argument, and Socrates at the Platonic Academy, where he encountered profound discussions on ethics and metaphysics. These experiences broadened Zeno's understanding, showing him that philosophy could offer not only a guide to personal virtue, but also a system for building a just and orderly society. In his search for a unifying philosophy, Zeno grew increasingly critical of existing schools. The hedonism of the Epicureans, which placed pleasure as the ultimate good, seemed shallow to him. The abstract metaphysics of Platonism, while intriguing, felt disconnected from the practical needs of daily life. Inspired yet dissatisfied, Zeno realized he needed to carve his own path. Legend has it that Zeno began teaching his ideas in Athens around 300 BCE at the Stoa Poikile, or painted porch, a public space adorned with vivid frescoes. His choice of location was symbolic. It was accessible to all, from the wealthy elite to the humblest citizens. This marked the birth of Stoicism, a philosophy that bridged the gap between cynic simplicity and the systematic rigor of earlier schools. Zeno's teachings resonated because they were both practical and profound. He argued that the key to a good life lay in living according to nature, cultivating reason, and mastering one's emotions. By aligning one's will with the natural order of the universe, one could achieve tranquility and resilience, even in the face of adversity. With the painted porch as his classroom, Zeno laid the foundations of a philosophy that would endure for centuries. Founding Stoicism. The foundation of Stoicism wasn't just a philosophical breakthrough, it was a response to the chaos and unpredictability of life. Zeno's teachings, developed at the painted porch in Athens, took shape as a system of thought that sought to address the most pressing questions of human existence. How can one live a good life? What is our place in the universe? How do we endure hardship without losing our sense of self? At the core of Stoicism was the idea that the universe is governed by a rational order, which Zeno called logos. He taught that humans, as rational beings, could align themselves with this natural order by living virtuously and embracing reason. For Zeno, virtue wasn't just one aspect of a good life, it was the essence of it. Courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom were the cardinal virtues he emphasized, and he argued that these were sufficient for achieving happiness. Zeno's Stoicism was also deeply practical. He believed that external events, whether fortune or misfortune, were beyond our control and therefore irrelevant to our happiness. What mattered was how we responded to these events. By focusing on what lay within their power, judgment, decision, and action, individuals could maintain tranquility and resilience in any situation. This principle would later inspire the famous Stoic mantra, "Control what you can, accept what you cannot." Stoicism wasn't just a personal philosophy, it had profound social implications. Zeno emphasized the concept of cosmopolitanism, the idea that all humans belong to a single universal community. This was revolutionary in an era where identity was often defined by city-state or ethnicity. By living in accordance with nature, Zeno argued, individuals would not only perfect themselves, but also contribute to the harmony of society as a whole. Zeno's school of thought also incorporated a rigorous approach to logic and science, influenced by his studies under Stilpo and Socrates. He believed that understanding the natural world was essential to living in harmony with it. This scientific curiosity distinguished Stoicism from other contemporary schools and contributed to its lasting appeal. Despite its depth and complexity, Stoicism resonated with a wide audience. Zeno's choice of the painted porch as his teaching space was no accident. It was a public and highly visible location, attracting students from all walks of life. The open, accessible nature of his philosophy mirrored its teachings. Stoicism was for everyone, not just an intellectual elite. Over time, Zeno attracted a loyal following, and his teachings began to spread. His most prominent students, including Cleanthes and Chrysippus, further developed Stoicism, refining its doctrines and ensuring its survival long after Zeno's death. Chrysippus, in particular, would later be credited with systematizing Stoicism into the robust philosophical framework that influenced figures like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. Zeno's personal life was a testament to his philosophy. Known for his humility and integrity, he lived modestly and practiced what he preached. Anecdotes from his life often highlight his sharp wit and unwavering commitment to virtue. In one instance, when criticized for his plain lifestyle, Zeno is said to have replied, "I am not ashamed of my poverty, only of my wealth." By the time of his death, around 262 BCE, Zeno was celebrated in Athens as a moral exemplar and philosophical pioneer. The Athenians honored him with a public burial and a commemorative inscription, a rare accolade for a foreigner. But Zeno's true legacy lay in the ideas he left behind, a philosophy that taught individuals to rise above adversity, live virtuously, and find their place within the vast, rational cosmos. Challenges and philosophical evolution. Despite the profound appeal of his teachings, Zeno's path wasn't without challenges. As with any pioneering thinker, he faced resistance and skepticism from rival philosophers and the broader public. The competing schools of Epicureanism, Cynicism, and Platonism often clashed with Stoicism, leading to heated debates in Athens' intellectual circles. For Zeno, these debates were opportunities to refine his ideas and test the resilience of his philosophy. One of Zeno's fiercest philosophical adversaries was the Epicurean school. Epicureans taught that pleasure was the ultimate good, a concept Zeno found superficial and misguided. He argued that the pursuit of transient pleasures could never lead to a meaningful life, and that true fulfillment came from aligning one's actions with reason and virtue. These debates weren't just intellectual exercises. They underscored the practical differences between philosophies focused on external gratification versus those prioritizing inner mastery. Beyond ideological disputes, Zeno also faced the practical challenge of earning recognition as a foreigner in Athens. Unlike his rivals, who often came from established philosophical traditions, Zeno was building a new school from scratch. Yet, his persistence and the clarity of his vision gradually won over a diverse audience, from intellectuals to ordinary citizens. His humility and plain-speaking style made Stoicism accessible, attracting followers who valued its simplicity and depth. Zeno's own life wasn't exempt from the trials he philosophized about. Stories of his humility and discipline abound, portraying a man who lived according to his principles, even under difficult circumstances. For instance, Zeno was known for his unwavering commitment to frugality, often walking barefoot and wearing a simple cloak, a stark contrast to the opulence of many Athenian elites. This authenticity earned him respect, even from those who initially doubted his philosophy. Over time, Stoicism began to evolve beyond Zeno's original framework. His student Cleanthes expanded on Zeno's teachings, particularly focusing on the integration of emotion and reason. Cleanthes' hymn to Zeus, a poetic tribute to the rational order of the cosmos, became a cornerstone of Stoic thought. Cleanthes emphasized the divine logic guiding the universe, deepening Stoicism's appeal to those seeking spiritual as well as philosophical guidance. It was, however, Chrysippus who truly systematized Stoicism, earning the school its enduring intellectual foundation. Chrysippus developed intricate arguments on logic, ethics, and natural philosophy, ensuring that Stoicism could hold its own against other philosophical traditions. Through their efforts, Zeno's initial insights transformed into a cohesive and expansive worldview, setting the stage for Stoicism's influence on future generations. Despite the challenges Zeno faced during his life, his philosophy endured and adapted, proving its relevance across centuries. His struggles, both personal and intellectual, only strengthened the foundation of Stoicism, preparing it to thrive long after his death. Legacy and death. Zeno of Citium's life came to an end around 262 BCE, but his legacy was only beginning. By the time of his death, he had not only established Stoicism as a respected school of thought, but also earned widespread admiration for his character and teachings. His impact on Athens, a city known for its intellectual rigor and competitive philosophical landscape, was profound. In recognition of his contributions, the Athenians honored Zeno with a public burial and an inscription that celebrated his virtue and wisdom, a rare accolade for a non-native. Zeno's death was as dignified as his life. According to accounts, he passed away after tripping and injuring himself. True to his philosophy, he reportedly viewed the incident as a natural end, saying that he willingly obeyed the call of nature. This anecdote reflects his unwavering commitment to living in harmony with the natural order, even in his final moments. His students, particularly Cleanthes and Chrysippus, ensured that Stoicism did not fade with his passing. Cleanthes carried forward Zeno's teachings with his characteristic poetic eloquence, while Chrysippus expanded the school's intellectual reach, refining its logic and ethics. Chrysippus's contributions were so significant that he is often credited with solidifying Stoicism into a systematic philosophy capable of withstanding the test of time. In the centuries that followed, Stoicism found adherents across all walks of life, from Roman emperors like Marcus Aurelius to freed slaves like Epictetus. The core principles Zeno championed, living according to nature, cultivating virtue, and accepting what we cannot control, remained relevant and transformative, influencing both personal lives and societal ideals. Zeno's enduring legacy lies in the timelessness of Stoicism. More than 2 millennia later, his philosophy continues to inspire those seeking resilience, clarity, and purpose. His life serves as a testament to the power of turning misfortune into wisdom and creating something enduring from life's challenges. Zeno of Citium's journey is a powerful reminder that life's greatest setbacks can lead to its most profound triumphs. From a shipwrecked merchant to the founder of Stoicism, Zeno turned personal misfortune into a philosophy that continues to inspire millions. His teachings on virtue, resilience, and living in harmony with nature have stood the test of time, proving their relevance across centuries. If you found Zeno's story as inspiring as we do, consider incorporating some of his Stoic principles into your own life. Don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow philosophy enthusiasts, and subscribe for more deep dives into history and timeless wisdom. Until next time, stay strong, stay Stoic.